een pilletje?
Gewoon lik op stuk beleid.
Welcome, you skunkheads. Had enough impressions yet? All right then, let's dive deep into the history of extreme terror! Let's start, as always, in the 90s.
Pump up the jam, pump it up, why you...
But before...
Extreme terror!
God, I'm going to overuse this sample.
Extreme!
Like brainwashing your cat with nips. Okay, enough. And let's change the background music into something chill. Can't stand this creepy background noise. Alright, Terrorcore is a subgenre of gabber, characterized by its extremely high tempo and aggressive sound design. BPM typically ranges between 200 and 300, though many tracks exceed that depending on the artist and the context of the set. The signature element of Terrorcore is the heavily distorted kick drum. Additionally, percussion such as open hi-hats and claps are incorporated, enhancing the rhythm and intensity. Chopped, repetitive vocals and a recurring theme are often added. Terrorcore differs from up-tempo hardcore and other gabber subgenres by using percussions to introduce rhythmic swings into the music. This is rooted in early gabber, where hi-hats and other percussions formed the foundation of the genre. The kicks in Terrorcore are very bluntly distorted and have a bass-heavy, deeper character. This is achieved by heavily amplifying the distortion, in contrast to the sharper, more high-pitched kicks of up-tempo, which are often heavily layered. Terror kicks tend to be more straightforward. Older Terror generations, due to the limitations of older technology, often feature single-layer kicks. This distinction in sound character sets Terror apart from modern up-tempo, which emerged with the Millennium generation, whereas Terrorcore is deeply rooted in its earlier, more dull 90s sound.
Extreme terror!
As an older hardcore genre with roots in early gabber, Terrorcore has undergone numerous evolutions in its kicks, rhythmic patterns, and overall arrangement.
Extreme terror!
Anyways, Terrorcore originated in Frankfurt in 1994 with the foundation of the record label Kotzak Ltd, a sublabel of the influential Planet Core Productions, PCP, created by Mark Akardapane, a central figure in the evolution of hardcore techno. If you're interested in that background, check out my video on the history of early gabber.
1990 ist halt das Jahr der Techno-Sachen. Deswegen müssen wir uns mit Computer machen. Wir sehen uns auch mehr als eine Rock'n'Roll-Bewegung des Computers als Techno. Es ist wie Punk 1977, nur Punk war zu destruktiv. Und Techno hat da irgendwie eine andere Message. Mehr halt für die Zukunft, uns auf die Zukunft vorzubereiten.
Kotzak focused on a raw and brutal sound that went beyond the intensity of early gabber. It became one of the first dedicated platforms for what would later be known as Terrorcore, defined by distorted kick drums, chaotic arrangements, and an aggressive industrial atmosphere. The label was co-founded by The Bastard and initially distributed via Planet Core Distribution, PCD, Mark Acardapane's own distribution channel. The name Kotzak has an unusual origin. While staying in a Dutch hotel, Mark Akardapane and Thorsten Lambert, aka Slambert, were watching a Dutch movie with English subtitles. At one point, the word asshole appeared in the subtitles. Mishearing the Dutch dialogue, they interpreted it as Kotzak, a word that doesn't actually exist in Dutch, but sounded harsh and absurd enough to perfectly reflect the sound they were creating. With Kotzak, Frankfurt became a vital birthplace of Terrorcore, marking a transition from the structured energy of Gabber to a more chaotic, extreme sonic identity. The first release on Kotzak, marking the beginning of the label's contribution to Terrorcore, was Leathernecks Test Attack Catalog Number KOTZ0, released 1994. Here are some key examples from that era and the Kotzak label, showcasing the foundation of German early terror. Here is a selection of essential early terror tracks from both the Netherlands and abroad that played a crucial role in shaping the genre during the 1990s. These tracks represent the raw, uncompromising energy of that era and remain milestones in the underground terrorcore movement to this day. Back in the days, this was really... Yeah.
Shut the fuck up!
With the turn of the millennium and the rise of new-style hardcore, the classic Gabber sound, with its repetitive structure, began to fade from the mainstream. Large-scale events still featured traditional Gabber stages, but new-style hardcore, along with the emergence of the then-new genre hardstyle, a fusion of hard trance and hardcore, gradually pushed the early style into the underground. If you want to learn more about that, check out my video on the history of millennium hardcore and hardstyle. Nevertheless, Terrorcore continued to be produced during this period. New production techniques, such as more aggressive distortion methods, were integrated, further driving the genre's evolution and solidifying its unique identity apart from the shifting trends in the broader hardcore scene.
Und Techno hat da irgendwie eine andere Message. Mehr halt für die Zukunft, um uns auf die Zukunft vorzubereiten.
The Terror sit-down, first unleashed in 2014, proved that terror wasn't dead in the 2010s. It still hit hard, even among the mainstream crowd. Artists like Noisekick became the face of terror, known far beyond the underground scene. DEFCON 1's Yellow Stage stood as a fortress of chaos, hosting pure, unrelenting terror acts. The Destroyer, The Visitor, Terror Clown, icons of raw sonic violence. The style continued to evolve. Some artists kept the raw, percussive roots of the 90s alive, mixing them with more modern kick drums. Others, like Terror Clown, pushed heavily distorted, up-tempo-like kicks at even higher BPMs. The result? A brutal hybrid sound that defined the 2010s era of terror. Here are some classic 2010 terror tracks that capture that sound. We arrive in the 2020s, an era of fake edits, double drops, zag kicks, and even more bullshit.
Thanks.
Yet terror stays true to its roots. It's still being produced by people who live and breathe this music. The sound remains loyal to its essence, just sharper, thanks to new production techniques. Old-school style tracks are making a comeback with the rise of modern retro gabber. At the same time, new terror tracks emerge with a fresh edge, untouched by TikTok trends or cheap hype. A truly positive development, don't you think?
Total terror.
That was the origin story of Terrorcore, from the 90s until today. But as always, there's more beneath the surface. Many niche styles and so-called subgenres have emerged from the underground, shaped by specific artists, labels, and subculture. They're often hybrids with related genres or even more extreme evolutions of terror itself. So let's start with speedcore. Speedcore is where things go off the rails. BPMs start at 300 and can go way beyond 600. It's fast, chaotic, brutal, a pure wall of distorted kicks and noise. Born from the fringes of hardcore, it grew into its own beast. Underground, DIY, and anti-mainstream to the core. Here are some sample tracks that define the raw energy and speed of classic speedcore, each one pushing beats per minute and distortion to the limit.
The people around you, the music.
Powerful. You have to try this bunker. Ihr hört die Musik, umso freundlicher die Leute, kann ich nur sagen.
Speedcore.
It's a small organization, it's an extreme type of sound, and I think that makes them pretty unique.
So much passion, energy, they were great.
That's what that town is kind of about.
Yes, I like this.
Speedcore is already one of the most extreme forms of terror. But even within speedcore, there are deeper levels, subgenres that push it even further into madness. Styles like splittercore and extratone take speed and distortion to inhuman levels. For now, let's dive into the next subgenre. Industrial terror, a brutal crossover between industrial hardcore and terror. Cold, mechanical, distorted, yet fast, relentless, and aggressive. Some artists have fully dedicated their sound to this hybrid, like SRB, also known as Enoid and Dione. He fuses industrial strength kicks with the raw speed of terror. The result, a pounding machine-like sound that hits like a steel hammer to the skull. But others take a more fluid approach. Artists like Tripped blend their sets between these genres, starting with slow, heavy industrial hardcore, building up and ending in full-on terror mode. This mixed style is becoming more common, offering a smooth transition between the worlds of industrial and terror. It's often experimental, pushing boundaries in both speed and sound design, limitless and unrestrained.
In your head.
Because of this, BPM can vary drastically, from slower techno-like tempos around 140 BPM all the way up to 250 and beyond. It's up to the artist's creative vision and the context of the set. And finally, we arrive at French terror. Is it just terror with French core kicks? Or simply faster French core?
What?
The lines are blurry. It's less of a defined subgenre and more of a stylistic crossover. Often, terror artists and French core DJs share the same stage, playing well beyond the 200 BPM mark. Here's a great example, a noise kick remix of a Dr. Peacock track, a perfect fusion of both worlds. Perfect for hacking. If you want to learn more, check out my tutorial playlist. You'll get all the basics for front and back step, plus a few extra videos to help you level up your moves.
Extreme terror!
That was the story of Terrorcore, with all its faces, styles, and extremes. What's your favorite terror track? Can you vibe with the genre? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and SoundCloud for updates and new releases. It really helps support my work, especially since monetization isn't possible due to the music in these videos.
Ein bisschen Kleingeld, Ma'am.
Extreme terror!
Thanks for watching.
Ik ga weg, ja. De gedupeerde, die nemen maar lekker een pilletje.
Gewoon lik op stuk beleid.